Hello, friends. Nestled on 15 wooded acres stands a place where winter yields to passion. For 74 years, the Short Hills Invitational has called to the finest. Here, tradition finds its perfect echo. Legends are remembered, rivalries are renewed. This is the Short Hills Club Platform Tennis Invitational, a tradition unlike any other, where heated courts defy the season and skill meets grace. The Short Hills Invitational, where the paddle sings and the spirit of the game lives on. Join us as history unfolds. A tradition unsurpassed.
We're all tied up, and this first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow. Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We're live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the 2026 Short Hills Invitational Grand Prix, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following: our presenting sponsor, JP Morgan Private Bank, World's Private Bank; additional local sponsors, Maple Crest Ford, Lincoln of Union; Xenon Paddle, Spyro, Harrison and Nelson; Paper Ribbon Wrap, T-Spa by Tutela Plastic Surgery; New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association; Suzanne Emmerich of Keller Williams Premier Properties; Club Pilates; New Jersey Women's Platform Tennis League; Swax Lax Lacrosse; New Jersey Flex League. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside the Hall of Famer Patty Hogan, bring you the women's final between Ellie Halbauer and Anna Maria Zubori versus our number 7 seed Jade Curtis and Matea Mihaljevic. Our chair umpire is Carol Evertson. Patty Hogan, welcome to the booth.
Hey, Mike, good morning. This is going to be a great finish to an incredible 3 days here for the Short Hills Invitational, the 74th consecutive running of this event, Mike. Pretty amazing achievement, second only to nationals in our game. And, you know, yesterday, despite the cold, I mean, the action heated up on the court. We saw Halbauer and Zubori remain undefeated. They played Boston and obviously won that event, came through yesterday, annihilated Lopez Page in the semifinals, took out O'Sullivan Saric in a 3-set quarterfinal. And they seem poised and ready out here this morning. They've got some representation for the New England Patriots in this matchup, Mike. And on the other side of the draw, yesterday's our tournament number 2 seed team of Macy Elliott and Lisa Lalich had to bow out. They retired at 1-all in their third set against Matea Mihaljevic and Jade Curtis due to an injury with Macy, and then Lisa tweaked something as well in that match. So Curtis and Mihaljevic, they're playing such a strong tournament. They had a great win over Morgan Sikora in 3 sets, 6-4 in the third in the quarters, Mike. So, you know, it's no fluke they're here. They've been a team that, you know, combining their talents combined seem to form really an outstanding team, and I hope that we'll see more of them. I think they're planning on playing nationals, and they're planning on, you know, battling big time here, Mike. They're not daunted by Zubori and Halbauer, not by the firepower that they're going to see, and they're ready for it.
Nice. And don't let that sunshine fool you. It is Arctic cold, and it has a dramatic effect on play. Obviously, you know, the ball isn't as lively, but it also affects the ability for the players to spin the ball and really compress the ball, you know, and it looked in the semifinals that was didn't seem to affect Zubori's, you know, very dynamic play up at the net. You know, I did listen and watch that match, and, you know, the comments that you all had made was about a lot of drives missed in the net, and just due to the fact that the ball is not popping off the paddle. So it will affect play somewhat, but I mean, we've got 4 great players here, and I don't know if you want to introduce the players as they're finishing up their warm-up here.
Sure, representing the New England Patriots today, Anna Zubori. That's a good shot of Anna right there. And Ellie Halbauer is representing, since the Bengals are out, she's got to go Patriots to support Anna's team. Anna's the new pro out at Old Westbury Golf and Country Club in Old Westbury, New York. We know that Ellie Halbauer hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. Jade Curtis up in Stamford, Connecticut. And Matea Mihaljevic, also of Stamford, Connecticut. All 4 women teaching pros, Mike. They're all used to standing out in the cold.
Yeah. Well, this should be the weather, I don't think, is going to play a huge factor. I mean, thank God we're not out there calling this as Carol Everton out there standing courtside. She's not up in the chair, though, right?
Well, here's the thing. This whole weekend, Carol has been coasting. They've had a red carpet. They've had a heated blanket for her, and she's refused them all. Instead, she's opted to stay inside the Short Hills Club Pro Shop the entire weekend, as have most of the umpires, because it's just bitter out there, Mike. And to keep those umpires safe, to keep them coming back, we needed to keep them warm this weekend.
That's smart.
All right. So that's Ellie Halbauer starting it off, serving to Jade Curtis. Jade's in the near court, right side, deuce court. Ad court, just tossing that ball back. Good shot right there of Matea Mihaljevic. There's Ellie, and that's Anna Zubori up at the net.
That's a heck of a start.
Yeah, and if Zubori's going to apologize for every winner on an overhead, we're going to hear a lot of sorries.
You think she meant it?
Totally sincerity behind that. So Mike, yesterday, Halbauer and Zubori just played a lights-out match. Their first set, I think, was flawless. I don't think they made 2 unforced errors. They're playing at such an extraordinary high level. And you couldn't tell that the temperature impacted them at all. Ellie's got her good luck pants on. They're actually her brothers, she told me yesterday.
Well, I think to correct you, I was watching that first set, and I think Zubori missed 1 overhead wide in the first set in the semifinals. So
maybe her hat got in the way in front of her eyes for
That's
a
right.
second, Mike. No, they played so well, and Matea and Jade have been around a lot, and they've been around a lot of good players. Our colleague Laura Mandel plays with them up in Connecticut in some games and in Westchester area, and thinks they have a huge upside as a team, and play really good defense and aren't mentally daunted by the opposition. And she thinks that they can hold their own in this match.
And what do you think their keys to victory are? If there's a couple of bullet points that you would say they need to.
Yeah, Mike, I think anybody playing against Halbauer and Zubori have to volley well, because there's just, they are just pound, consecutive shots. And if their positioning's a little bit off and they don't, stay closer to the net, they're going to, they've got to keep their volley errors at a minimum. And I think for them it's also going to be how they play the net and how they choose to attack Zubori or Halbauer, and that's going to be what I'll watch for. I think the volley depth is going to be key, and the volley placement, but really where they go with the overheads and where they target their overheads as this match unfolds.
Yeah, where do you target the there's no place to hide, against Halbauer and Zubori. And I think to your point earlier about the volleys. I mean, Halbauer is so good on that initiating drive and then following and then pressing forward, that any short ball is kind of that open door invitation to come in and really attack the net with the blitz.
Yep, I think another key for them will be the play out of the deuce court on the baseline for Matea's over there, far side deuce court in the shadows. they've got to do this. They've got to get that deep cross-court ball to Halbauer. Yesterday, Paige and Lopez kind of fed the Zubori overhead all afternoon. And granted, it was a definitely gusty, windy day yesterday, where today's just bitter cold. It's not as windy. So I think if they can target their lobs a little better, that can set up their offense. And, they're lethal through the middle. Both Jade and Mattea can pounce, forehand or backhand. So I think it's going to come down to that really good lobbing, the spotted lobbing. I felt like yesterday, Lopez Page, like when they lobbed, it was to get the ball back, and because it was so windy, you had to keep the ball more in the middle of the court, Mike. So it was hard to kind of go into your offensive baseline schemes that you're used to setting up off of spot lobbing.
And spot lobbing, really spotting away from,
yeah,
Zubori's offensive overheads.
Right. And, it's not that Halbauer doesn't have a great overhead and some overhead variety, but you want her overhead to beat you in this match, not Zubori's.
It's like pick your poison, the lesser of two evils, right?
Yep. Jade and Mattea have to play almost a flawless match here because of the skill set on the other side of the net, which I think exceeds most of the teams playing in this tournament. I mean, they're that good. That's a good shot of Mattea Mihaljevic. Teaches up at the Millbrook Club. You can see she's got a nice wingspan. But see, they're lucky. They didn't keep moving forward there, Mike, and that was a problem yesterday against Halbauer and Zubori. With Paige and Lopez. Paige and Lopez kind of got stuck in between, and I think they're so fast and they relied on their ability always to run down shots in transition off the back screen, but that play was off the table yesterday because of the temps and the wind.
Yeah.
And Mihaljevic and Jade, I just think if they're in that mid-court area, I think they're dead women walking in this match. When they see a drive coming, they're going to have to be bold, move in, get themselves in a better volley position.
And when you say better volley position, it's just to that point right there that Halbauer isn't able to dip the ball below net level and force the volleyers to lift, because then that opens up the blitz opportunity for the driver.
Exactly, Mike. Wow, you should be a teaching pro.
I'm thinking about it. It's been 30 years of thinking.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, you get to work in extreme conditions, 100 degrees to 0, maybe minus, doing a little tennis paddle, a little every racket sport, paddle squash.
Yeah.
What don't you teach, Mike?
Oh, man, that crochet.
Not yet.
Not
I mean,
yet.
there's time for that.
Full disclosure, Patty, I do needlepoint, so I can kind of start venturing into that and teach that. So,
Okay. Are you working on your belt for nationals right now for your needlepointing?
Yeah, no, not yet, but I'm going to get it ready. I've got
Okay.
some work to do because we're just 3 weeks out from the APTA Nationals.
That's right. Canubra Country Club hosting 3 national championships this year, Open Nationals, Team Nationals, and one of my favorite events of the year, the Junior Nationals. Last Saturday in February. So Junior Nats will kick it off. Entries are open. Get your kids involved. It's a great experience for families, kids. Even if your kids aren't great junior paddle players, if they love the game and love competing, sign them up.
Yeah, I had one of our members, their grandson, qualified out of Chicago for a not an all expenses paid trip, but he did get quite a bit of funds to offset the travel, so he'll be out there.
Oh, great. Great. Are we allowed to know his name?
That's a secret.
Okay,
I don't
it's a
want
secret.
anybody to be able to do some scouting here.
Okay. I'll just be on the lookout for him, Mike.
Yeah. Offline. We'll connect offline, okay?
There you go. All right, Curtis and Mihaljevic on the boards here. 2-1, first set in the finals of the Short Hills Invitational. Mike, they have pulled off a great event, and I can't even tell you what a difficult day yesterday was here with the winds, and it was amazing. At one point, the quarterfinal match with director right here, Alvi Regalato and Jose Salazar playing Burris and Urdoya. And there were 25 people watching outside the whole match, Mike. It was incredible.
Jeez.
Great support for their favorite pros.
I bet the inside viewing was absolutely jam-packed.
Yeah, yesterday was one of the few days the parking lot wasn't too bad here. Usually it's packed up, but I think a lot of people watched from the comfort of home yesterday.
I could see that. Have the fire on, watching it on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense to me.
So the tour kicked off in Montclair. The first event there was won by Lopez and Page. That was their first win of the season. Lopez Page went on to win Baltimore. Then Lopez Page, going into nationals, there's a few question marks in the women's games with combinations and teams. You watch the momentum. Sadly, our pals, Morgan Sikora, we love them. They went out in the quarters, but, there's going to be upsets, but that's what makes this game interesting. And the depth in the women's game is, I applaud it at this point because it makes it so much more interesting for everybody in looking at quarterfinals, and you can't just say, hey, I know that team's going to win. It's not the case anymore. There's so much depth in the game. Some of the round of 32 matches, Mike, just huge talent. Really a fun time in our sport. And you watch, like, Halbauer, we're used to seeing Zubori and Hanisch won 2 nationals together. They won Chicago this year. They had a default when Hanisch got hurt at Aronimink, and Floor's working on recovering, and I'm not sure how her recovery's coming. I was thinking there was a chance we might have seen her here this weekend, but it's not the case. So I think lots up in the air in the women's game. Who will pair up? And Elliott, getting a little bit hurt yesterday. It's that time of year where the body starts wearing down. It's a long season, and the really cold temps don't help. That's where some of those injuries definitely come into play. But hopefully everybody's healthy for nationals, and we have at least 4 or 5 teams who have a shot to win the national title.
Yeah, it is it is that time of year. It's like playoff football. Everybody's playing a little dinged up, and
yeah.
Wow. That is a daunting task to make a volley when your time is being compressed by Halbauer moving in like that.
Yeah, double break point here. I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Mike. You've always said it, how, you've got to keep that scoreboard pressure. You've got to keep it close. Halbauer and Zubori, when they get out and run, watch out. They are lights out. They know how to keep their foot on the gas. And Mihaljevic and Curtis right here, tenuous moment in this first set because they've got to keep it close. They got to keep grinding. And the thing is, Mike, Halbauer, Zubori, where's their weakness, Mike?
I don't know. Maybe they're having a bad hair day. I can't tell you.
Exactly. I mean, that's how good they are. They're kind of a dynamic duo together. They complement each other so well. And, they're similar in that they both are offensive threats from so many spots on the court. And pairing them up together here, and they don't give points away. Very few unforced errors. So big question mark about how you even, what do you do to try to break them down?
Well, and the fact that they give very few points away, but then they also kind of combine that pressure with, the opportunities and the ability to force errors and hit winners. And I don't even like when I'm teaching to talk about winners, but they can flat out win the points. And it's a double-headed it's a double-headed monster in the sense that they're not giving you anything except a missed overhead there. It's the curse of the announcer, but really kind of it's a tough to play against.
But I think it goes back to fundamentals. there's always matchups in the game where you have 4 really talented players and no one's making the errors, and then you have to figure out, where's the risk? Where do you bring some risk in? It's that fine balance. I love a sneak play there. That's what Curtis can do. I mean, she's got that quickness that really can compete with Halbauer and Zubori's quickness. She's a really fast player out there, Mike. They're not going to get a lot of gifts, and so they're going to have to create their own, and that's with consistency. We talked about it earlier. Using the lob, set up some drives, and beautiful roll return to serve right there from Curtis. Curtis, former quarterfinalist in Nationals, played with Liz Jaffe. Played 1 Nationals with Vicky Stoklasova. They went out in the 16s in an epic match out in Pittsburgh Nationals to Dardis and Shea years ago. Jade has a little one, and I love her in this game because I think she's one of our most talented players.
Good communication partner. I didn't hear
And
anything.
I love what we just heard there from Zubori saying great communication partner, because something that I happened to work on today or this week in drill, the theme was defending the blitz over on the. Halbauer was able to call out that blitz, and then Zubori's able to change her overhead to affect, what is a winning overhead. But, the eyes forward, watching the blitz for the blitz, and then communicating to your partner who's hitting the overhead.
Exactly. So a break point here. Huge moment in the match. Great instincts right there from Curtis. Drop shot winner. Halbauer Zubori up 3-2 in the finals of Short Hills. Hey, Mike, Corian is excited to partner with the APTA because whether as advisors to our members or as members themselves, they are already part of the APTA community. Learn more at www.corian.com, the official wealth sponsor of the APTA. So, Mike, we have a special guest here coming into the booth. He just finished getting a massage in the side room. Our tournament director, Derek Bowen. So welcome, Derek.
Patty, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. And how about you, Derek?
I'm doing fantastic. This is such an honor. Seriously. Thank you so
Well,
much
it
for
is an
having
honor
me.
to have you, our tournament director. Phenomenal job. 448 players, 8 events this weekend. Derek, do you remember who got to the finals of each of them?
No, I have no idea who got to the finals of any of them. But I want to, before we get to any winners, I want to say first and foremost, seriously, thank you for all that you do for paddle. You are such an ambassador for all of us. The fact that you know anybody's name, let alone my name, is amazing, and we really appreciate all the support and love you give to the Short Hills Club, the Short Hills Invitational, and paddle in general.
Thank you, Derek. Kind words. Appreciate that. Okay, so you ran so many events here.
Yes.
How many hours? What'd you do? Plan for a year?
You don't count the hours when you do this out of love. This is, we are so proud. This is our 74th year at the Short Hills Invitational. Last year was the Short Hills Club's 150th anniversary. So we've had all these great milestones, and next year we're getting ready to celebrate our 75th anniversary of the Short Hills Invitational. But so we do it. We do this for the love of paddle, for the love of the Short Hills Club, and so we're just so happy that other people get as much enjoyment out of it as we do.
Well, you've done a wonderful job, and you have something for everyone, Derek, in this event. All PTI levels. What's your PTI, Derek?
My PTI has been falling, which means it's getting worse. So I think at its peak I was at 28, and now I think I might be a 38.
Okay.
But here's really exciting news, though. For the Short Hills B tournament for the club championship, I get to play. My partner is Mimo, and Mimo just won with Pablo the men's 18+ tournament yesterday. So I get to play with a champion for the club championship.
I mean, what's better than that?
Nothing. The Black Ninja, as he calls himself. He calls himself the Black Ninja.
I did not know that.
I know it's really, I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but it's actually something it's like talking in third person.
There you go. Well, I love the the PTI in that it lets players of all ability levels come out and compete against someone of similar ability level, and it makes for so many exciting 3-set matches throughout all these tournaments. I mean, we get to see the top players on the screen, but so many amazing matches throughout the weekend. And,
Right.
and you guys, amazing organization, 16 clubs. How many courts did you use for this event?
We use 16 clubs, 4 times 4 per, so, and then times 3, that's a lot of math. I mean, I went to Indiana University.
I would start with
can't
3
do that
times
math.
4 because
Right,
it's hard
that's
when you put
12.
the double digits in
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot, and I do want to say thank you to all of the New Jersey clubs that every single year support us. Obviously, we try to keep everybody in the area so the drive time's down, but or lessened. But it really does. It is the New Jersey paddle community, and so the fact that Nationals is coming here this year to New Jersey and is going to be exciting is another way for us to celebrate our love of paddle.
Well, we appreciate that. And do you need to give any special shout-outs to anybody on your committee in particular who stood by you?
Well, first and foremost, I have to thank my wife, Christina Bowen, the First Lady of Paddle. So that's the first person. Brian Skinner, president of the Short Hills Club. He was the previous tournament director that he handed the reins over to me this year. So if I can come 50% as good as he's been doing it over the years, I would be honored for that 50%. And I'd also like to recognize Glenn Gang, our general manager. But again, Amin at the APTA and the entire organization of the APTA is so supportive to award us a Grand Prix every, all these years, and we're just so proud to be a part of it.
Well, you guys take hosting tournaments seriously. You leave no loose ends, and the best thing is you guys epitomize the paddle community where you're warm, welcoming, the beer's flowing, and a little disappointing that it was so cold yesterday.
Is this the cold? Patty, you've done this for a long time. Is this the coldest weekend?
In my 18 years involved with the sport, this was the coldest weekend.
It has to be, right? But I mean, location-wise.
No, it was. I've never remembered a colder weekend for an event, and it's been way over 18 years.
I mean, look at how they're dressed out there. I mean, they're wearing. I mean, there's so much clothing on everybody right now, but they're still playing great.
Yeah.
By the way, the women's paddle this weekend has been spectacular. Like, I know and so for either one of these teams to win this tournament, what an accomplishment.
Yep, I agree. Well, Derek, this is a great accomplishment. Another successful Short Hills Invitational. We got a lot of paddle to go here with this men's final, and then your very own director of rackets, Alvi Regalado, Jose Salazar, #1 seed, in a dream final matchup for the viewers against Nunez and Powers.
Yeah, we hope that this is where, we talked about Mimo winning with our assistant pro Pablo, the 18 plus. I want to also give a shout out to Dan Urban and his partner Big Mike for winning the Challenger 2 last night. So Big Mike. My daughter goes to Michigan, and Big Mike's a Wolverine, so I could say go blue. I've sent them a lot of money in the past 3.5 years, so I can say go blue. But if Alvi can win that would be great. We'd get 3 of the 8 events on the Short Hills Club. How great would that be for us?
That would be phenomenal. All right. Well, Derek, thank you so much for everything you do for the sport of platform tennis, and not only in the Short Hills area, but your support for Nationals and being part of this gigantic, warm, welcoming paddle community that New Jersey has no rival, in my opinion.
I agree. Thank you so much, Patty.
Thanks you, Derek.
Thanks for allowing me to come up here, and let's have another couple great hours of paddle.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, Mike, back to the action. What have I missed?
Well, I would say, we started the broadcast talking about kind of the effect on the drives, a lot more drives missed in the net. And within this game, we've had, I think, Zubori has missed 4 drives, relatively good looks right into the net. And I think she's not able to kind of shape the shots as much as she normally does. But, they had 3 or 4 break points there and a great hold from Curtis and Mihaljevic. It's a big hold.
See, Mike, I think they've got to focus in, it's like, where are the safe spots? And I see Sean from Cutter's Rule. he wants to know where the safe spots are. And I don't think there's any safe spots, but there's spots where if you hit the ball, where is your team positioned to handle the next shot best? And so I still think with two righties, they got to go, a little bit of Zubori's backhand over in that ad court, throw that ball her way. I always feel like with Hanish and Zubori, when Hanish would get a lot of shots, you would see Zubori sneaking over, and then you just miss by a board or two your target on your overhead, and Zubori would just swoop in and hit that forehand where, I don't know, maybe keep her pinned in that corner, Mike, a little bit. Go after her, go after her backhand a bit.
And that's, to a T, what they were doing when Darren was in the booth. It was, 80-90% of the balls were going kind of deep into Zubori's backhand, into her corner. So they might have been reading your mind.
Well, and the thing is, I always think when you have someone who's a superior athlete like Zubori, incredible racket skills, if you can make her play flat-footed paddle, I think you have an advantage on her. I think anytime a great player gets the opportunity to move, for a lot of players, the more movement, the more trouble they get in. But for someone like a Zubori, she's constantly in motion, and she wants to have that movement. And when you can kind of just make her stand around, get her a little flat-footed or whatever, I think that's the only way you can kind of break her down and maybe make her feel some pressure out here.
Well, I think we're at 30 all now, and there we go. We got the score. Yeah, I like that. That's a great point. You really are forcing kind of an active player to kind of, when you're able to suppress some of that movement and that dynamic play.
And see, I didn't see Zubori hit a fault yesterday, Mike. I swear, I didn't see him miss 3 shots in their semifinals. But, that's credit to Curtis and Mihaljevic. They have the right mindset out here, and they're executing, a game plan. And you have to start with a game plan, and then you can change it. If you don't have a game plan when you start, how do you know what adjustments to make? So
that's right. What's the saying? If you don't have a plan, any road will lead you there. Something like that. Ellie Halbauer, is she ever not smiling?
I found out the one time Ellie doesn't smile, and that's when she flies. She was sharing with me this morning that, or honest at it, that she doesn't love jumping on a plane. What a great combination of shots right there in that point. Stretching Ellie up at the net, getting her to reach, and then being able to pull that trigger wide, forcing that volley error. Gigantic combination of shots. And that's what it takes, Mike. It's moving the ball around a little bit, and I just felt Curtis and Matea, Jade and Matea are doing a nice job of that in the early going in this match.
When it forces the net team into that decision, does Zubori move all the way to her right to take that overhead? Oh, what hands. And a great get.
Mike, with nationals coming up, junior nationals, and of course our favorite event of the year, team nationals. You, Greg Morgan, do a great job running the event out of Chicago and New Jersey. I get to help you guys a little bit, which is provide some entertainment.
More than a little bit, Patty.
I provide a little entertainment to you guys, I think. But signups are underway, Mike, and what's the latest total? You're hosting the women this year? How many teams are signed up? Have you checked the updated sign-up?
If I did, I'd start to sweat, Patty.
Okay.
I know in the first hour we had over 40 plus teams sign up in the first hour. That it was
Yeah.
that signups opened up. So it's yeah, it'll be a great weekend. We'll be in Chicago 11th and 12th of April. And I think the women are in Chicago this year, and the men's are out in New Jersey.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
a couple weeks earlier.
That's right. And, Team Nationals, great event. Get 6 or 7 or 8 people, form a team. Hopefully your bandwidth of PTIs is about within 15. You play your team. You play 3 matches for each round of play. And everybody's guaranteed 3 rounds on Saturday, a match on Sunday morning, and then if you make the finals, you'll get a second match there. And there's something for everyone. Any PTI levels can be competitive. But Mike, holy cow, Curtis Mihaljevic up 4-3, first set, semifinal action, Short Hills Invitational.
I feel they've really stolen the momentum. It flipped a switch here. As we know, this momentum is a fickle thing, and changes the flip of a switch.
And you see Curtis and Mihaljevic, some people would say, who are they? Well, they're amazing players. They're talented.
Yeah.
And, the two of them as a team are forming a great combination. For them to take out Morgan Sikora yesterday in the quarters, that was solid. I knew that match would be a hell of a matchup. It was 4-6, 7-5, 6-4. Curtis and Mihaljevic prevailed, and then, they were playing a rock-solid match before Elliott and Lalich retired. They were right in there, 1-all in the third set, given, Lalich and Elliott were struggling a little bit gimpy out there. But all I was watching was Curtis and Mihaljevic. They weren't paying any attention. They play their game. They're kind of really keeping themselves present, just kind of focused, and they just had that mindset this morning when I ran into them earlier outside, and they were ready for this.
Yeah, they really seem, the moment isn't too big. They are dialed in, and they're standing toe to toe with one of the game's best teams this year.
So you could see that wall of backhands, Mike, that you love watching, to defend the net. And you got to have that wall of backhands, but you got to be careful to keep the ball straight, a little bit more straight ahead. When you hit it across the zone and move it a little bit to the other person, it causes, it leaves you vulnerable for the next drive. And that's kind of what happened right there. Double break point.
And the vulnerability is because basically that wall has to shift. That wall of backhands has to shift, right? If the ball moves, they've got to move with it.
Exactly. So that's Zubori lobbing far side out of the ad court with the red paddle. That's Matea Mihaljevic hitting the overhead. Like we said, Matea teaches up at the Millbrook Club. Jade Curtis on the right side, just hitting that overhead. And then Ellie Halbauer, far side, deuce corner. But you can see real good execution from Mihaljevic and Curtis, and really good communication. We hear Anna's voice, and totally supportive, and Ellie and Anna stay real positive with each other all the time. But exact same situation here with Curtis and Mihaljevic. And even though they, some would view them as massive underdogs in the finals here at Short Hills, anything can happen, Mike, and you and I know the importance of having that mindset, that mental approach going into the match, that you've earned the right to be here, and they were anticipated that they could figure this match out and had a great chance to win it. And what a great attitude.
How about the unflappable volleys from Curtis? She is, wow, I'm really impressed with her hands.
Yeah, she's the real deal. And Matea has just improved. She steadily improved her game. She makes really smart decisions on the court. Great defensive player out there. I like her little bit of height. And she and Jade, great combination together.
Yeah, Mihaljevic, she's got that, that range. You see that two-hander that if that ball is not dialed into the right spot, she's really coming up the line with her two-hander in the backcourt and making them pay.
Another thing Lauren Mandel mentioned to me this morning is that Mihaljevic and Curtis, the key for them would be to control the pace of play, because we know how fast and furious Halbauer and Zubori bring it when they play. And yesterday, just boom, 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 really quick play. And this match, the tempo is, I think being controlled by Curtis and Mihaljevic. It's their tempo match. And that's because they came out lights out right here. Even though it was a brutally cold day, they went out, warmed up, started this match. Very few unforced errors, and that's why they're up 4-3 in the first set.
From a tactics point, I think Zubori needs to bring her line or her lobs a little bit more down the line, because you see most of the play right now is going in and out of her corner, and she can really direct the fire by lobbing a little bit better down the line, forcing Mihaljevic or Curtis to either decide, do I go back down the line into the Zubori forehand, or do I have to hit to the middle, which is normally a safe zone, but with Halbauer's backhand there, it's a trouble spot. Wow, what a great get, Mihaljevic.
Really high level point here. Wow.
And just like that, we're back to a neutral's footing. Wow.
All four knew the importance of that point. That was huge. What a great overhead down the middle. Just that ball did not come up.
And in this weather, Patty, normally I always say that the middle is more of a kind of a defensive neutral, but in this weather, we just saw there that softball deep up the middle really can be a setup ball, not just a defensive or a neutral shot.
Yeah,
Hank
exactly.
Irvin, one of Short Hill's finest professionals in a long line of, great professionals at the Short Hills Club. I think he called it the low and slow, if I remember correctly. I was lucky enough to teach with him a little bit.
Oh, yeah. All of us who had Hank in our lives early in our careers benefited. A great mentor to so many players, including both of us. Mike, last year's final here at Short Hills was won by Paige and Lopez. They got their second win of the season last year, defeating then the country's #1 team of Burris and Elliott. Burris and Elliott, as we know, went on to win nationals. Just an amazing team together. Lynn's taking the year off, and Macy has teamed up with Lisa Lalich, and they're doing great. Hopefully they're healthy going into nationals. But we will not have a repeat winner for sure this year. On the men's side, Durant and Mitchell won this event last year over McNerney and Morgan. McNerney and Morgan had a 5-hour semifinal match. Mike, I don't know if you remember that. And Durant Mitchell.
I remember it.
Durant and Mitchell.
On the call.
Yeah, I think that was Durant Mitchell's last win on the tour. Those two obviously are not playing together anymore, and they each played with different players up in Boston. But we sadly won't get to see Durant Mitchell anymore. But Mike, it hardly matters. It does matter, but it doesn't, because how many magnificent players are in the game. And you always say, oh, the game will never be the same, and we lose Johan, one of the the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Well, you watch everybody else, and the level keeps going up with so many players, and Johan carried the torch for a while, and the torch is being passed, and there's so many players who are ready to grab it.
Yeah.
Huge depth in the game. So 4-all first set, finals at Short Hills. Actually, I'm wrong. 3-5, Mike. I just got corrected by our chair umpire, Carol. So it's 3-5. Curtis and Mihaljevic up. Kind of a shocker, probably, Mike, for a lot of people, but not a shocker for us.
It's 3-5, really, because I thought Zubori and Halbauer won that game at 4-3. But
Carol
smarter
will have
people
to check.
than me.
Well, Carol's pretty smart, so I believe her right now over
Okay.
either of us.
Just by that reaction at the end of that game.
So it's a challenge for all the players with this cold, but it's a huge challenge for the umpires because they're inside and it's hard to stay connected, and you can't obviously make line calls, called foot faults, anything like that. So we have a change over there. I think, Mike, do we all agree they're changing?
Yes, we do. We can agree upon that.
And I think the cold air is impacting our iPads and our scorekeeping as well. But, Mike, what do you think? 5-4, first set?
5-4 one way. I'm not sure which way, but I'm going with 5-4.
Okay. Carol Everton is running out there.
I think it's 4 serving 5.
Well, actually,
There we
yeah,
go.
Zubori's up, so we totally got it screwed up.
There's no we in there, Patty.
Mike, I totally screwed it up.
Unless you got a
You're
mouse
right.
in your pocket.
All me. All my screw up. All right. You know, I was believing Carol. I'm going to have to give her a little grief
Okay.
for that one.
Yeah. So we've got 4 serving 5. You're just joining us. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Patty Hogan, bringing you the finals of the Short Hills Invitational. Between Halbauer and Zubori, our number 3 seed, versus Curtis and Mihaljevic, our number 7 seed. Mihaljevic serving 15 love, 4 serving 5.
Little 6-point streak thanks to court director providing stats throughout these matches. You can see Zubori didn't go for a lot on that return of serve, just wanted to roll it and make Matea come up with a first volley there.
Great overhead from Curtis.
Yeah, you don't get that many opportunities for that down up, but when you get it on that really short lob, brutal in these attempts to get that ball back. There's that down the line lob you were talking about, Mike,
That
earlier.
is.
And there's a great spot lob from Jade Curtis. She returned the favor. And that's the thing, Mike. You know, I think the difference with top players is you see where the placement of those lobs, you know, it's purposeful versus just putting the ball back, you know, cross court. You've got to kind of pick a spot that has potential to break down the other team. Wow.
Yeah, you notice right there, it took three lobs from Zubori to finally open the door to what is a great drive blitz here from Halbauer. I mean, that is an absolute masterclass in lob placement to create offense.
We'll mention again that Jade Curtis is the director of rackets at the Roxbury Swim and Tennis Club up in Connecticut. She lives in Stamford, and Matea also lives in Stamford, and she teaches at the Millbrook Club in Greenwich, Connecticut. Shout out to APTA President Damian Johnson, making sure we give everybody their due. And the clubs, Mike, because we're so appreciative of all these clubs who let their directors who are so talented to come play on the APTA Tour from weekend to weekend to just showcase the great sport of platform tennis.
Yeah, and as tournament director had mentioned, the use of the 16-plus clubs in the area to provide their facilities, their courts, open their arms to this tournament and all the tournaments. Without their support, events like this don't happen. Here's a question for you, Patty. Is there another sport that the clubs provide, that kind of the community is providing the facilities, courts, time, effort into making these tournaments run? It's hard to think of another sport that's doing that at the highest level.
Yeah, no, it is.
You got an answer there?
I do not, except for the sport of golf. You know that. Mike, you're
Yeah,
a good
but
golfer,
that's one facility. It's not,
Right.
16 different golf courses. It might be 2 or 3 at the most.
Exactly. No, it's part of what makes this sport so unique.
Betty, you got a pick for the Super Bowl this fine Super Sunday?
Well, Mike, I can't. I think that I've lost my last couple of bets against you, so I'm going to pick. I had to pick the Patriots yesterday because our colleague Denise Murphy picked the Seahawks because she's a bird girl, evidently, and so she took the team with the bird. So I got the Patriots.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't really have any skin in the game. I just hope for like this. I just want a great game, great match.
I don't think it'll be 5-all in the first quarter of that game ever.
Yeah, that'd be tough to get to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice heavy roller there from Halbauer.
I keep thinking about the tempo of this match. It's such a different match, such a different speed than yesterday's semifinal where Halbauer and Zubori played Lopez and Page. And that's kudos to Curtis and Matea. Mihaljevic just kind of digging in and coming up with a plan and keeping this close, which is critical because, even the great Anna Zubori is going to throw you some errors from time to time. Ellie's got a Patriot shirt on underneath, but there's no way she's taking off her lucky sweatshirt and her brother's lucky ski pants.
Well, I've been really impressed, Patty, from just the hands and the volleys from both teams, all 4 players. It's a extremely high level of hand-to-hand combat and I think one of the big things, if you're looking to learn from that, is just how quiet the hands are. Very limited extracurricular activity.
This is a really good deep serve, but a great dipping return of serve from Curtis again.
Big volley, big volley.
Yeah, she just closed in. She saw the drive coming, great anticipation.
And you notice too, I did say quiet hands, but boy, Halbauer, when that ball is above net level and she's got position, she does get after that with a little bit of a swing and, directing it kind of into a corner.
Yeah, she's got swinging volleys when she comes forward and quite the wingspan. And It is really
that-
tough to defend.
Not that you ever teach that, but boy, if you've got the skills uh, and the talent of what was she, top 260 in the world? Is that
Yeah.
is that right in tennis?
Singles and doubles.
Jeez. All right, we got Jade Curtis serving down 5-6, stay in the first set.
Yeah, Jada Mateo just done a phenomenal job in this first set of kind of keeping it away from Halbauer forehand or backhand. Kind of, zeroing in on Zubori because it does keep them in the best position. As long as they can get the depth on their shots and enough little bit of variety with some spins, it seems like they're in great shape in this match.
And that depth allows them to handle the Zubori offense in the backcourt a little bit better, right? They're able to manage that offense.
Oh, yeah. And I really like their volleys, Mike. They're staying down low, and I always think, a good volley is a ball that doesn't bounce up high. And I think when you're a defender at the net, it's always more comforting if you see them hitting up versus hitting down at you.
Would you ever want to see Zubori and Halbauer make a switch in the backcourt to give Curtis and Mihaljevic a different look?
I think if they lost the first set, maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying switch return sides.
Right.
I'm saying within the course of a point, maybe flip it just to.
Sure, I love baseline players mixing up. When another team, because Mateo and Jade are doing a great job, and they have a really good rhythm and tempo with their overhead scheme here, and certainly calling a switch would be disruptive a little bit to them. And it would be fascinating to see, if they would follow Zubori to the other side. And we know it's tougher to defend two righties on balls coming out of that deuce corner deep at times versus that ad corner. So it would be a curious play. But you'd also have to have the willingness of Anna Zubori to give up that ad court. I don't think she would. Wow, really good close.
There.
Mike, can you see how low that volley stayed? Into the snowboards for a winner.
It's tough to defend.
Yeah, you can see Curtis has great footwork and preparation, and she sets that paddle really early so she can get the ball kind of on demand into that ad court corner.
Yeah, she's not really giving Zubori the same look. Two overheads in a row. Changing locations and spin and speed.
And see that ball, Halbauer had to really get down on that. And I just felt like yesterday, Paige and Lopez, I've said it before, probably saying too many times, they hit a lot of balls that kind of ended up high. And Zubori and Halbauer just are amazing ball strikers on those high bouncing balls. And that ball, they forced Ellie to come up with a shot from really low on the deck and got the, that's what they have to do with these guys. So I love the idea. Low is good, Mike.
Forces that driver to lift if they are going to drive.
Yeah, just sticking to the plan. What discipline on the overheads from Curtis and Mihaljevic. And I love the play, sneaking that ball over to Ellie into that forehand corner, Mike. She had the ball that was low. It lent itself to a little bit of a slice overhead and then got the error from Ellie. So Ellie's getting a little frustrated, Mike, because she's just not getting her shots.
Mm-hmm.
First set tiebreaker, finals, Short Hills. Who knew, Mike? Who knew? That's why you play the game. Just masterful
That
game
is
plan
correct.
and execution right here from Curtis and Mihaljevic. Huge underdogs in this match, but just playing a phenomenal first set. And they've got, Ellie and Anna are going to have to be the ones who are going to have to maybe make some tactical adjustments.
What a volley.
Just missed, going for a little up the line shot. Mike, did you know Jade Curtis was ranked top 30 in the world in junior tennis?
I did not.
She also was top 230 in the world in doubles and top 300 in singles on the Pro Tour. She played college tennis, Auburn University. She won the Boston Open twice in the past. She loves traveling. She loves spending time with her family. And I bet her cute little daughter Lottie and her husband Matthew are enjoying the action. She was born in Oxford, United Kingdom.
Boy, and we see Mihaljevic and Curtis just going right back to work, really pinning that ball on the ad side. And this is tough on Halbauer because, the balls that she does see, she's forced to scramble, play a defensive shot.
Yeah. And this is what I like. I don't want Ellie to get 3 shots in a row. 1 or 2, I think, is the max, because I think they've kind of frozen her out on this freezing day anyway. And I just think the more hits she gets, it's going to bring her into it. And you can see Zubori's feeling it a little bit here. She's feeling the pressure that they're applying, just coming at her over and over and over. That's Matea Mihaljevic serving. And this is Zubori about to hit the return. And Halbauer committed to just taking off no matter what on that return, and good hands on that first volley. Keep that ball low enough where that swinging volley was a little tough to execute for Halbauer.
Boy, the Curtis return has really hurt Zubori and Halbauer. She's able to dip that ball low, forcing a tough first volley. We got the Bud Collins mini break here. 1 serving 3. First set tiebreaker. Patty, am I dating myself when I say the Bud Collins mini break?
Not at all. I had a flashback to his pants. He had colorful outfits, I always remember. Bud Collins.
Yes, he did.
All right, so Curtis Mihaljevic up 3-2. We think we have the score right. We know we have the score right now. First set tiebreaker, finals, Short Hills Invitational. That's Jade Curtis serving. Look at those hands from Curtis. She's just a great competitor, Mike. She's really one of my favorite women players to watch over the years. And, I haven't seen her play that much, but whenever I see Curtis in the draw, I know that there's another team that's going to contend really well. A great deep lob overhead error from really deep from Zubori, and 4-2.
Boy, that's a different play. A little chip and charge, huh?
Mm-hmm. Really smart adjustment right there from Zubori. I love the different look. Wow.
Curtis just pummeled that forehand return.
Yeah, they're going to have to
Great
really
hands.
be more thoughtful with their serving and try some different formations, because Curtis is just lights out. What a good shot.
That a fantastic point here.
What a great adjustment Halbauer made.
Hit the ball!
Wow, I was just thinking Bud Collins would think that was a crucial point for all first set tiebreaker, Mike.
Yeah, they're all big, but you know, you hear Halbauer say hit the ball.
Yeah, fault, and look at that. Look at that intensity. You just have to love how Matea and Jade are just working together as a team. They're just staying present. They're playing it literally, Mike, 1 point at a time. And they're playing a phenomenal first set. Yeah.
You can't avoid Halbauer on the return. You
No.
gotta serve it to her.
But maybe you have to go into her body a little bit more, up the teammate,
Boy.
Mike, maybe? Maybe, just to try to give her a little bit less court to pummel you in. All right, so 5-all, first set tiebreaker. Women's finals.
No! But yeah, come on. But yeah, that's
They're having a little discussion. Carol, our umpire's up in the hut. They have to sort this out. Impossible for me to tell from here.
okay.
So it was.
Well, you said it was out, right? Can you see it from there? I cannot see it. It's your guys. I mean, but yeah, I thought that was on the line. And you decide to make a very tight ball at 5-all. I'm just saying. That's a very, very good look.
So I think
5-6.
Wow,
I
that's
think
a
the
big
ball was
call.
out. So we have a set point here for Curtis and Mihaljevic. And Mike, first set.
Wow, first set. So we will be coming right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by Joho and match statistics provided by Court Director.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Patty Hogan, but we've got a guest commentator in the booth, Brad Easterbrook, bringing you the finals of the Short Hills tournament, the women's final between Halbauer Zubori and Curtis and Mihaljevic. Curtis and Mihaljevic won the first set 7-6. Brad, welcome to the booth.
Well, thank you. Just a placeholder here for a moment. Well, Patty takes a quick break, and what a set by Curtis and Mihaljevic. You know, everybody thought out here they'd be heavy underdogs in this match, and they're showing exactly why they made the run to the finals with their play out here. Great returns, a lot of offense off the deck, and smart play.
Yeah, and I think, Brad, one of the big things there was the ability in the game plan of theirs. It was clear. It was, they really kept the ball in Zubori's half of the court in her corner and, avoided Halbauer for the majority of the match. I mean, outside of the returns, they basically neutralized her offense. So great plan and great execution of that plan.
Yeah, getting the ball into the side screen on Zubori is always the best option if you can do it. And Halbauer's got howitzer on both sides. So, and with her driving and Zubori being able to blitz behind it, it sort of takes that away. Not that Halbauer can't blitz, but great execution and a great plan from those guys. And it's amazing to see them, get to their first fight. Well, Curtis has been in some big matches many times before. Mihaljevic, this is her first really major final in a Grand Prix here, and she's just really nonplussed. It's tremendous to see. All right, so Patty Hogan has got in here, Mike. I'm going to turn it back over to the real legend here, the Hall of Famer, Patty Hogan. Patty, I hope it isn't disappointing these moments. You're right back in here. Thanks, Mike.
Take care. I'd love to get Patty. I'd love to see the court director stats for that first set.
Yeah, have they come up yet, Mike? I just had to go outside and make sure that it's really cold out still, Mike, and it's really cold outside.
And it is? Okay, good to hear.
Yeah, no change. No change. What incredible first set.
No change.
Did the stats come up from court director, I think?
We have not seen the court director stats yet.
Okay. I have a feeling they're going to appear in moments. There you go, Mike.
I mean, look at the points won, Patty. We're talking 50%
dead even. Wow.
And it doesn't surprise me, right?
Everything's even.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, 53% of the service points won by Curtis and Mihaljevic. 50% of the points won from Halbauer Zubori.
But I'll tell you, we talked about the volleying of Matea and Jade, and look at that. Only 3 of 9 for break points converted from Halbauer and Zubori. And they just relied on so much offense that they got off of their return to serve scheme where, they follow, one hits the return, the other comes in and crushes the net, crashes the net. That's worked really well throughout this tournament. But I just think the volleying of Curtis and Mihaljevic, neutralizing, and I love their overhead scheme. And they're playing a disproportionate number of the overheads to Zubori and just kind of pinning her in that corner and not really freeing her up for her, the offensive flurry that we're so used to seeing from Anna Zubori. Thank you to court director for those stats from the first set.
Yeah, and this, this women's final, Short Hills here is really turning out to be, I think, better than we'd expected. And all the credit goes to Curtis and Mihaljevic for their absolutely, the execution of the plan, and well, I got to tip my cap to them.
Oh yeah. And Mike, did you know Matea? She was a former top-ranked junior player from Croatia. She represented Team Europe and played in some ITF events. She played college tennis, Colorado State, and at Troy University. And she's about to finish.
A Ram.
Yeah, and she's about to finish her master's at Monroe University in New Rochelle, New York. So besides working full-time, teaching up at the Millbrook Club, she's furthering her education. Kudos to Matea. All right, so what do you think's going to change here, Mike? Look into your crystal ball. Halbauer Zubori? Any adjustments needed or better execution?
Well, I think continuing that theme of Zubori lobbing down the line to either force the low percentage overhead back down the line, or they make a choice and hit the ball to Halbauer. And then also, I think that, if we look at the number of faults from Zubori and Halbauer, if we just clean those up. Yeah,
there was a big fault in that tiebreaker. obviously this match, when you talk about it, I've never seen a match with stats provided by court director where it was 50-50. Exact same number of points won by the teams, the same percentage.
Yeah. I mean, it shows you how important each point is.
A little different formation. Halbauer identified it right away, just
Gosh.
went to the open space, put the ball up the line. See, against Halbauer, Mike, what? I mean, I feel like she's so good that I'm not sure Australian, if you don't move, does anything.
Yeah, it just changes their target, right?
I just think it changes the target. Yeah.
And I think you need some, but to play the devil or the other side of that, the transition play with this temperatures, to let a ball go through is so much more difficult in this weather because it's not coming off that back screen.
Right.
So.
And you know how I said in the first set, the importance for Matea and Jade to keep the score close. It's the exact same thing because we know Halbauer and Zubori, they get on a little bit of a roll, and watch out. They'll play with ease. They won't feel the pressure of this moment playing in the finals of a Grand Prix. Here, the Short Hills Invitational, and Matea and Jade did just a phenomenal job in that first set, limiting their unforced errors. They've got to maintain that. If errors start leaking in here, it could go fast the other way against them.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. You've seen already in a game and a half in the second set when Zubori and Halbauer have the net and they get a short lob. They are bringing the heat, with that hard rolling overhead right at the players. See if they continue with that. I don't know if that was maybe something they talked about in the break.
Uh-oh, you could just feel that point falling apart a little bit with the organization from Jade and Mateo on their overheads. They kind of went, we always say, you got to be careful when you go side to side and you switch it. You leave yourself slightly vulnerable at moments, and that's exactly what happened to them there. Just a couple of unforced errors there. It's hard to say unforced errors, Mike, but when you miss, I think, 2 lobs long in that game, that hurts a little bit. So that's Jade Curtis about to serve. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I was going to say that, in some respects, the weather puts such a pressure on the lobs that if you're throwing in short lobs, boy, Halbauer taking over in that point.
Yeah, and Curtis went back and had to throw up a lob there, which is so hard to do with the cold, but she had to throw up a lob to give Matea actually a chance to be able to defend the next shot, and kind of because she drove the ball, took away Mihaljevic's ability to have any time to get set up to defend the next shot. But you see Halbauer inserting herself there, Brad. She's going to get herself into the second set more. She definitely wants, more looks. And Jade and Matea have to be careful not to give her many more. I think they limited her firepower by limiting the number of opportunities she had to just even touch the ball. Mike, did you think you'd see a match where you play Zubori more than her partner?
Right.
Ever? I mean, See, that was a good lob up the line from Ellie there. Another good lob up the line from Zubori. She's not getting a lot, but she's just kind of trying to work to create some spaces, get Curtis going back, and Curtis is really playing smart positioning, Mike. I like that, you know, she moves in when she knows the drive's coming. She's hanging off the net if she knows, if she watches Zubori's paddle and Zubori opens up her paddles, she knows it's going to be a lob, and she's just staying off the net. So she's kind of limiting Zubori's ability to yank her chain because of her anticipation and positioning. And she's, you know, her shot selection on her overhead to follow is nothing really juiced. And so she gives herself plenty of time to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and you notice the number of overheads when they are going to Zubori, how deep they're keeping that ball. And so it's either a forced drive from a, you know, an off position or another lob coming back.
Really solid.
I think they're
hold.
doing
Yeah.
Yeah, the Curtis and Mihaljevic are doing a great job of keeping that ball in the back order of the court. So if Curtis or sorry, Halbauer, Zubori do pull the trigger with the drive, it's manageable offense. You know, Todd Ward, one of our former great players and teaching pros, he used to call it driving on their terms or driving on my terms. That if they're driving from deep in the court, they're driving on my terms, and it's an easier volley.
Five-point streak here for Curtis Mihaljevic. Thanks to court director once again for their live stats. Really good closed volley right there from Curtis. Caught Zubori in the middle of the court. Forced the error. What do you think, drive or lob, Mike? I say it's a drive from Curtis.
Yes.
Boom, boom. How come? Because she can.
Yes.
She can drive any ball, any serve, it seems. Mike, I did a Cutter's Rule broadcast recently with some of the rising women stars in the game, and our next one definitely has to feature Curtis and Mihaljevic. They're not exactly newcomers; they've been around for a bit, but their presence here in the finals today at Short Hills, winning the first set already. I think they deserve a podcast.
I think so, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to ask that guy Sean from Cutter's Rule. Get him on before Nationals.
You've got my vote. Did you notice, though, that the Halbauer overheads, these rolling heavy balls kind of right at Mihaljevic in that point?
Yeah, she does hit such a heavy ball.
Well, she's already, used that overhead to, I think she's hit both Curtis and Mihaljevic off the bounce. I don't think it's intentional, but it's a tough ball to react to and get out of the way and then have to track it down off the screen.
Well, I always say in the women's game, if you don't have a way that you can finish off some points, and that roller that we saw kind of, I don't know, years ago, Nicolescu pounded Anika with those overheads, and you can see Halbauer has some special talents for sure, and she can let that ball drop and roll it, and such a heavy shot, such a tough ball to defend, especially in the cold.
Oh,
it's a great move.
Wonderful play. Great move from Curtis.
She just wished she had the wingspan of her partner. But I like the pressure. I just like the move. She didn't, maybe she could have let that ball go through, but She kind of had a play, and there was an opening, and she just wanted to see if she could stick it. Just didn't come up with it, but love the idea.
Boy, you see that great position from Halbauer and Zubori.
Yeah, their positioning's pretty effortless with each other.
You know, and I think the big thing there too is that position is so strong. It really takes a lot of pressure off, you know, the volleys that are coming. And I mean, it's a great lesson for everybody watching that. Boy, if you can make sure that you are disciplined with your position, it does kind of flow into your defense. You know, in the point.
So that's Matea Mihaljevic, pro of at Millbrook Club, serving here. It's another great return and forward movement from Ellie Halbauer out of that deuce court. There's Jade Curtis with the blonde ponytail, Lottie's mom, and Anna Zubori is about to return serve out of that ad court. Mike, I like that little movement from Curtis up there. I mean, you know, she missed that other volley, but I like that she's staying active and kind of getting, you know, right when Halbauer's about to hit that return, she saw the movement of Curtis and tried to avoid her. So I like that move against Halbauer, just kind of taking some risk, you know, creating a little bit of havoc if you can. Maybe
Well,
take.
you want to, yeah, you want to be a. You want to have a presence up at the net. You don't want to just be a space filler, right?
Yeah. I mean, how about that shot from Matea? Lauren Mandel was telling me how good her ground strokes are. She pummeled that two-handed backhand, really found perfect spot, forcing the volley error.
Boy, a little change up there. Mihaljevic serving and staying back. That
Mike,
takes a.
Yeah. Mike, the APTA Tour kicked off in Montclair this year. We're just going to do a quick recap as we have 2 tournaments left. We have Midwesterns in 2 weeks, and then Nationals for the women. Lopez Page got the first tournament win of the year at Montclair. Halbauer teamed up with Allison Morgan. They got win number 1. Lopez Page won Baltimore. Hanish Zubori put on a great display and won Chicago. Halbauer played with Morgan again, and they won Cleveland. Elliot Lalich got their first win at Aronimink with the default walkover over Hanish Zubori when Hanish suffered the injury. They won, Elliot and Lalich won the Long Island event. Page and Sarge won Fairfield. Halbauer Morgan got their 3rd win of the season together at Steel City. Elliot and Lalich got their 3rd win, Ridgewood. And Halbauer Zubori won huge event in Boston. Here we are, two events to go, Mike, and it's going to be a thrilling Nationals in New Jersey. First weekend in March with so much depth in the men's and women's games.
Boy, some offensive blitzkrieg here from Curtis and Mihaljevic this game. 40 love, I believe.
Wow, this is giant. This is. Wow. Yeah, I think Anna had a feeling what Matea was going to do right there.
She had a beat on that one for sure.
Yeah. And look at Matea just bringing it to her, you know. Anna moved and those are the shots where that's a lot of pressure to handle, and Zubori usually handles that, but what a quick release from Matea right there. You know, consolidated that ground stroke, and boom, that ball was on Zubori's paddle before she was ready for it. 3-all. Second set, women's finals at Short Hills. Patty Hogan with the one and only Mike Raleigh calling the action. Mike, I can't remember the last time a 7th seed won a women's APTA Tour event. Can you? If they were to be able to pull this off.
Yeah.
I can't even think of someone below a 3rd seed, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this is wonderful to see that, you know, I can understand you've got a young child, but boy, how come they're not playing every tournament? You know,
That's
Jaden,
right.
Matea, it's like, wow. But
Yeah, well, I think
got a
they're
front
onto
row seat.
something, Mike. You know, she's played with a lot of different partners, and I think as these players, you know, it's about availability, and you get your friends and see who can play, and you get some natural teams that, you know, commit at the beginning of the season. But I think, you know, we've seen a lot of mixing up in the men's and women's pro tour this year, and now I think Matea and Jade are definitely onto something, because they seem like they are playing beautiful paddle here this weekend. Short Hills, and obviously finals of Short Hills Grand Prix, huge regardless of the outcome of this match. Puts them in great shape confidence-wise going into nationals.
yeah. Boy, it seems like Mihaljevic is heating up with that two-hander. She's doing a great job of spotting her locations.
Yeah, been a good combinations of overheads there, and Mihaljevic just couldn't quite catch up to that shot. Really good pressure from the overheads from Zubori and Halbauer. So double break point against Jade Curtis here. The second set, Short Hills final. Same strategy, pound a ton of balls at Zubori. And Zubori's doing a great job just kind of defending it all and then waiting for her opportunity.
Yeah, there they are with the break. Halbauer, Zubori go back up 4-3 in the second set after losing the first set 7-6 to Curtis and Mihaljevic.
You can see there's a bundled up Ellie Halbauer. I mean, that's basically what you have to do out here, the amount of layers of everybody. And Mike, I walked in the Short Hills Club this morning, and you should see the table where the lost and found were. So many jackets, sweatshirts, gloves left behind from yesterday from a lot of the players.
Just run it back up. New ball.
Chair umpire
What a hustle.
Carol Everson, she's doing it all. Running in
Great
and out.
hustle there.
Yeah. Well, she was a former runner. You can see she's got that stride. Great balance.
Yes.
Uses the arm a little bit. She's faster when she doesn't run with an iPad. All right, a lot of bounce. You can see Matea and Jade are in sync. They're in this battle here together. They're thoroughly enjoying it. I love how They're playing intense yet kind of relaxed paddle and really thoughtful and really executing their game plan beautifully. You know, that first ball, Zubori volleyed it to Jade, and then Jade, you know, drove the next ball. I think that's where if Zubori's on top of the net, Curtis would be well served to just resist hitting that drive right there and take the lob up the line and really try to wrong Zubori. Zubori loves that movement and moves up and back as well as any women player out there. But when she's got that movement on top of the net and that combined with her amazing hands, you know, it's a losing formula for the baseline team usually. So that's where resist the drive even if you have it and go up anywhere and make her move in another direction. Great cover from Halbauer right there, Mike. I mean, Zubori would have been dead in the water trying to cover that shot. But that's what it's taking to win points, Mike. You know, the points are won out here. It's really high-level play. It's great to watch.
But I think, you know, that overhead placement, too, that it's almost as if that's part of their plan, that if they get a little bit in trouble, they're going to dump middle. And just a little flash out front. Halbauer didn't reach that volley. And I think Zubori thought that was going to be Halbauer's.
Yep. So break point here for Curtis and Mihaljevic. Wow, Mike, 4-all.
Boom, right back at it. We're all squared up.
I just love what I see, the body language from Matea and Jade out here. I mean, they're just in sync. They have been throughout the course of this match, and they just came out here with such a great attitude and just great competitors, and they're at 4-all, having won the first set in a tiebreaker, 7-6, up on Zubori and Halbauer. That's Matea Mihaljevic serving, and that's Zubori cracking that return. You saw how Halbauer just taking off automatically. It's because she has so much confidence in that Zubori return. Great hands from Curtis to withstand that onslaught. I was just thinking, Laura Mandel told me how Matea makes incredibly smart decisions. That's like the first bad choice she made. She just kind of forced that one, where I just think she's played incredibly thoughtful match here.
Yes, she has. She really has played within herself, you know, using that backhand in the backcourt, that two-handed backhand, just almost surgeon-like with her precision and her placement.
4-all, 30-all. I don't think we're going to see a lob on the return of serve here, Mike. She's cracking it. I was surprised Curtis didn't do a little shake and bake move up at the net there just to try to give Ellie a little bit more to think about.
Especially with her partner serving and staying back.
Exactly. All right, so we got a break point against Matea Mihaljevic here on the paddle of Anna Zubori. Announcer's curse. Two bad choices by Mihaljevic in that game, sadly, for their team. Halbauer and Zubori up 5-4 in the second set. I think she would like that shot back. She would like that shot back for sure. But Mike, what a fun high-level women's paddle match we're getting a front row seat for here.
I mean, and the court director, and through the second set, we've got Curtis and Mihaljevic have won 47% of the points, with Halbauer and Zubori have won 53.
Oh wow!
We've had 5 breaks.
No.
It's just out of nowhere, Mike. And you're thinking, the routine overhead for Zubori.
Yeah.
Just
well,
missed it.
It goes to show. It goes to show. Even the best players in the game, they make mistakes.
Yeah, that's why. Crucial situations, just get the ball back. Make sure you put the ball in play. Get it on the other side. They're the only ones who can then lose the next point. The odds of them hitting a winner, not as likely as an error.
Two missed overheads here from Zubori.
Wow, and all of a sudden, kind of shocking, Mike. I think we're speechless.
Yeah, I know.
The big moments, that's where Halbauer and Zubori both love. They want the ball typically. But kudos to Matea and Jade for just never going away mentally in this match, just competing on every single point and keeping that pressure on Halbauer, Zubori, who they were huge underdogs to in this match. Ton of frustration there from Halbauer, just exactly what Curtis and Mihaljevic wanted to see. And they've just stayed rock steady throughout, and they've won the first set 7-6. We mentioned that in the tiebreaker, and they're at 5-all. In the second set, this is Jade Curtis serving.
And to 5-all in the second set here, Patty, we are at 50% of the points won by either team. Just an amazing. Before that point, they had each won 78 points.
Wow. Dead even after the first set, dead even at 5-all in the second set. Incredible. Really good little roller two-handed backhand there from Ellie, just forcing that volley error. Beautiful, beautiful paced ball. Got the dip, got the error. Yeah, really good return. Again, I feel like that serve wide to Halbauer's forehand, not the way to go, Mike. But nerve-wracking at this crucial point to get the ball up the tee, maybe to lessen the amount of court she has to hit into. But I don't know, that Halbauer return to serve, really tough to defend.
Well, one of the things is on that wide serve, it opens up, it really gives Halbauer 3 options. She can go down the line with it. She can go back through the middle. And then she can also take that ball on the extreme. You give an angle, get an angle. So.
All right, so double break point here. But I love that. Take a little time, have a little chat, get on the same page. Maybe they talked about where Jade's thinking about serving this ball to Halbauer, Mike. And then going into prayer that she could come up with the first volley. Much better serve. Moved it a little bit, sort of into the body of Halbauer, and great dipping ball from Zubori's forehand right there. Break point. Halbauer Zubori up 6-5 in the second set. Mike, do you want a tiebreaker?
I absolutely do. I mean, and are you surprised that we've had seven breaks now of the 11 games?
Is that temperature related, Mike, or skill related?
I think it's 100% skill related. You would think
Yep.
that given the temperature, the percentage of holds would go up, but not quite the case here.
Yeah, and just such firepower on these return of serves, and in this temperature, hard to hit that ball hard enough where you can impact that return. Zubori serving.
Carol Everton is now courtside.
Well, it warmed up to, 8 degrees, so she can be out there for a little bit, maybe, Mike. And I think she's out there in case this thing gets close and she's in a tiebreaker that she can.
Wait, gets close?
If we get to a tiebreaker, she needs to be out on the court to help all the players. No, it can't get much closer.
That was a great volley from Zubori there.
I mean, all 4 players have volleyed amazingly well today. But ton of breaks of return of serve, because I just think all of their return of serves are better than all of their serves. Wow. Let's go, tiebreaker, Mike. Yep. Of course, always the switch where Zubori gets to the left position at the net when you look at the back of their team from behind. All right, I like this. Jade and Matej having a little combination, just a little quick chat, maybe about where they're going to target the return of serve. It's on a Zubori, about to serve. Little combination. None of those balls hit very hard, and just got the baseline error off the screen from Mihaljevic here. Back to deuce. That's it. 1-2 combination that Matej and Jade have. Oof, lights out. Just a little short. Just gave him enough room to pull the trigger. Another break point against the Zubori serve. Would have loved to have seen Curtis lob that ball, Mike, a little bit more cross court. Got to put that ball in play. Can't miss a lob long at this point. Yeah, and you don't see Jade Curtis getting any looks in this game, do you, Mike? She's been cracking her forehand, and she lobbed the last, return of serve that she had. It's a good serve from Zubori. But they're definitely, Zubori and Halbauer are limiting that in this game and going after Mihaljevic here.
Got her set point here, right, Patty?
Yep. What hands from Zubori. Great shot from Mateo. Zubori handled it, no sweat. Really great spot drive from Mihaljevic. She just pounced that ball in between, made him come up with a decision. Great point here.
Hey.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy, we'll be right back after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming brought to you by Joho and match statistics provided by Court Director.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Patty Hogan at the Short Hills Club with this women's final match between Halbauer, Zubori, and Curtis and Mihaljevic. Patty, we're a set apiece. We are absolutely dead even. And, you know, our court director statistics, I mean, I could spend an hour talking about kind of the match thus far. And you know, we are neck and neck, almost dead even. I think those are statistics there from the second set.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, you can't have a more even match. It's just amazing to me, and more breaks of serves than you ever anticipated on a cold day by a lot, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. If I were a betting man, I would have bet that, you know, we see more holds of serve, you know, at a higher percentage than normal. And it pretty impressive. I mean, again, I'm looking at on my iPad here, our points won, our differential is 3 points through, almost an hour and 40 minutes of play.
Mm-hmm.
82 points won from Halbauer Zubori, 79 from Curtis and Mihaljevic.
And then
13 breaks of serve.
13 breaks of serve. That's phenomenal in 2 sets.
Yeah. And I mean, the level of play, it looks like they're playing it. It's 30 degrees out there. I mean, very few. I think the biggest one of the things we see maybe a few more drives missed in the net, but extremely high level from both sides of the net from all 4 players.
Yeah, I felt like a little bit in that game. I mentioned in between sets there, Mike, that I felt that Curtis and Mihaljevic kind of backed off in a sense, kind of got a little deep and defensive, not looking for their shots in there. And, you know, we talked about that's because of the impact of the overheads that Zubori and Halbauer are hitting, and they're kind of preventing them from getting their looks. So Curtis and Mihaljevic, I think, have to go back to that first set where they did a really good job of spotting their lobs and, you know, continuing to look for offensive opportunities. I thought Curtis, you know, at 30 all in that game, I think it was 30 all, I'm not sure, but her last return in that game, critical game, she threw up a lob on a wide serve from Zubori. But I think for them to win this match, Curtis has to keep firing her forehand.
Yeah, she I think I really love the Mihaljevic two-hander throughout the entire match. And I think for Zubori and Halbauer up at the net, they continue. I would expect they're going to continue with that really hard, fast, heavy roller right at either Curtis or Mihaljevic. Because I think that has an effect on their ability to react and play offensively when there's that threat of the ball being hit so hard at them, off the overheads. It kind of is adding an element of maybe hesitation that they're not able to jump on their offense as quickly.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike, and absolutely agree. I agree with everything you always say, but that point about those roller overheads, you're right. It's definitely got Curtis and Mihaljevic where they're just not looking as aggressive. Where, I mean, it's so freaking close. It doesn't matter. There's only a couple of points that separates these players, and we got our wish with an amazing women's final here at Short Hills. Maybe we're a little surprised by the two teams we're watching. Certainly not Halbauer, Zubori. Everybody picked them after their amazing run at Boston to reach another final here at Short Hills. But not too many people bet on Curtis and Mihaljevic to get to the finals. But, they got the win over Elliot Lalich in the third set walkover at 1-all. They got the win over Morgan Sikora in a 3-set brawl in the quarters. So they've earned their way here, Mike, and they've showed up big time. I'm so proud of their effort.
Well, yeah, this is, we're in an all-out battle now with, it's.
Yeah, and do you think, Mike, before
it's anybody's game.
Right, and we hear a lot about PTIs and da-da-da-da-da, and, if you put these PTIs of these four players together, it would be, I've got to believe there would be, I'll have to ask Damian Johnson what the combined PTIs on this match would be. Something tells me Halbauer and Zubori's would add up to a lower number than Curtis and Mihaljevic's, but that's why you play the game. And, we've seen Zubori, who hits lights out, but she'll make an error or two. She'll give you a gift from time to time, and that's why Matej and Jade have to go back to thinking, okay, just let him hit another ball, and Jade missed 2 lobs long in that critical last game of that set, and I kind of don't want Jade Curtis to be missing lobs long. I want Jade Curtis to be missing a forehand drive. I mean, it's situational, and you've got a lob to open up the court for yourself. But their offense needs to come from her forehand, off of the return of serves in particular. All right, Mike.
Here we go. One set.
What a great way to
Short
start.
Hill.
Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday with the
Super Sunday. We're gonna say
Super Short Hill Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, and I hear there's a football game later. That's great. We'll get to it in time.
Yeah, there might be one.
Again, they haven't solved the Halbauer return to serve from that deuce court. Percentage-wise, they're losing a lot more points on her return than on the Zubori return. And that's the pressure that Zubori can apply off of it.
And she's only, Halbauer's only hit a very small handful of returns down the line. So, like you called it, the Curtis shake and bake a little bit more. I'm asking for a little more shake and bake here. There it is. Wow, got a little between the legs, behind the back, a little razzle dazzle from Zubori. I did love that Curtis stepped over there and picking up a little slack on the first volley.
Mike just heard from my friend Ellen Birchnell, who's watching the women's finals with her mom. Mrs. McCurdy may be the oldest person watching platform tennis today at a youthful 96, I believe. Hi, Ellen. Glad you're enjoying the action with your mom.
Oh, that is fantastic.
She loves listening to your voice, Mike.
Oh, I've heard that, yeah.
Women of all ages. Just keep talking, Mike Raleigh. All right. Curtis Mihaljevic. Where's our umpire? Is she in or out now, Mike? Oh.
I don't see her.
She's back inside. I was a little worried about her.
Back.
I'm glad Carol's inside. Yeah, she said she got cold out there, Mike.
I could believe it.
All right, so Curtis Mihaljevic up 1-love in the third set. Women's finals from the Short Hills Club. We have tour takes a break next weekend, Mike, I think, and then we go Midwesterns, the last Grand Prix of the year. Kind of a unique schedule this year with 5 Grand Prix, but every site that hosts the Grand Prix, I mean, well-deserved. They put on a great show. How could Short Hills not be a Grand Prix? 448 players, such organization. Beautiful background here, and 74th straight event, second only to the Nationals. Keep the streak going.
Pretty
at Short
impressive.
Hills. Yeah.
And did Darren say that the club is in its 150th year, 151st year?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. All right, what's going to be the difference in this third set, Mike? Look into your crystal ball. What do you got?
I'm going to say the team that has fewer kind of unforced errors. Sorry, Patty. I was saying, I think the team that's, it's not a cliche, but the team that misses less, kind of with the silly or unforced errors, is going to be the difference, in my opinion.
Does the overhead from Halbauer impact Mateo more, or the Zubori overhead, Mike? I feel like you're kind of. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That hard overhead, that hard roller is, to me, was the difference maker in the second set.
Was it off of Ellie's paddle or off of Anna's?
It was, I think, primarily off of Halbauer's paddle.
Yeah, Mike, when we talk about Halbauer and how she hits such a heavy ball, how do you describe that, Mike, to a newbie who's new to paddle? And what do you mean when they say that person hits such a heavy ball?
The weight comes from the fact that the ball's got so much pace on it, and it gives you very little time and puts you on the extreme defense on your heels, where a heavy spinning ball will tend to bite the screens, bite the court, and move more. I mean, I think the Halbauer overhead that's heavy is so much more in your face, in the sense that it's just got big pace, takes away your time. Some frustration there from Curtis.
And
I think in this weather, the pace of the ball is not as affected as much as the inability to spin the ball in this weather. So where Zubori, she can hit that heavy, fast-paced overhead, but her bread and butter, wow, great hands from Curtis there. I gotta watch this and I'll get back to my point.
Because this is awesome. What an exchange.
Curtis is pulling a Halbauer there. But to Zubori's, she has got so many different spins. She can cut it, she can slice it, she can roll it. But, that's negated by the weather in a lot of respects. So it's not as effective where that heavy flat overhead or rolling overhead, it's got a much more bite to it.
Mike, I've had a correction. Mrs. McCurdy is not 96. Our oldest spectator is almost 99. I was off by a couple of years. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah. Boy, Curtis Mihaljevic go off to an early 2-love lead here.
Just heard from Lauren Mandel, our colleague, who is just so impressed, she says, with the way Jada's been playing. And she just said Matea just keeps getting better and better every single week. And she says they both kind of thrive on these big moments, and she's thrilled to see them step up. She gets the opportunity, like we said earlier, to play with them, and she's seen their advancement as a team, and she is so psyched watching this. Curtis, you know, her forehand's gone away a little bit. She's not gotten some great looks, but yet they're up 2-love in this third set. So great start, and this is where they just have to stay and do what they were doing that first set. Just play every point at a time and not feel like they have to force anything. They're getting plenty of great looks.
Now,
lot of
Patty,
the
a
over.
question for you.
Okay.
If you were Zubori and Halbauer, would you prefer to see Mihaljevic's offense come off the deck or off the screen?
Screen.
Okay, yeah.
I
I think that's where, and I think that's where that heavy, hard overhead hit kind of threw her position, kind of puts her into a secondary offense that they can handle maybe a little bit better than the ball off the deck.
Yep. Good point again. Oh, look at that low volley. Curtis did a great job to control it away from Zubori. To no avail, they won it anyway, but great combination of shots. You just see this over and over, Mike, where the player tags that return to serve and their partner, you know, you're coming into the net as a volley and you look up and you're trying to focus on the ball and setting your paddle, but you're also seeing a high-level player who's looking to take a big swing and crack you if you volley it anywhere near them. That pressure is just relentless. And that's where the return game with Halbauer, Zubori, you know, the way they combine it, you know, as good as any team out there.
Yeah, we'll see where Mihaljevic serves this ball. Oh, sorry, Curtis, where she serves it.
Again, they're just put on the defensive because of the Halbauer return, and I think she'd be well served to stay back the next time she serves to Ellie. I would not feed into what Zubori pressure that she's able to apply off of Ellie's return to serve every single time on this deuce point. You know, when Curtis or Mihaljevic has to go to Halbauer on that deuce return to serve. Jade couldn't believe she was in her prayer position.
Yeah.
Just didn't come up with it.
Took a knee.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, we are an absolute barn burner here at Short Hills. We've got Halbauer Zubori against Curtis and Mihaljevic, and it's 2-1 Mihaljevic over Halbauer and Zubori in the third set. Mike Raleigh alongside Patty Hogan. I don't want this to end, Patty.
I don't want it to end. No one wants it to end, Mike. It's great play. There's a men's finals going on another court, but you know, you can't go look at that, even though it's an amazing match. I think Powers and Nunes, I think, are up 4-3 in the first set against Riccolato and Salazar.
Checking court director now. It's a score check as Nunes Powers 4-3.
Got it. I thought I heard that voice of Brad Easterbrook say that a couple points ago. Way to go, Matea. Keep those wheels going. I'm impressed with her court coverage. They're both doing a really good job of defending here.
Shout out to Matt Wurzel. He's listening to us on the stream here, Patty. Beautiful Tampa, Florida.
Oh, nice. Hi, Matt. So I think the score is love 30 here. You know, I miss the voice of Carol in our ear calling the score. Another good wide serve from Zubori to Curtis. I almost want Curtis to slide over a little bit, move her return position from where she normally hits it, because they've taken her return out of play here by serving her really wide.
So if she just slides to her right a half step and cuts
Why
that.
not? Why not? I think just make a little of adjustment and then make the server make the next adjustment versus giving, you know, the same look to the server. Shout out to Karen, Cindy, Jackie, APTA personnel on hand. Freezing weekend. These guys did a great job, as always, organizing everything. They both wanted that ball, Mike.
Yeah, they did.
All right, double break point on the Zubori serve here, the fourth game of this match. There we go. Jade slid over just a tiny bit, cracked that ball. That'll help her confidence. Ah, she made it.
Yes, she did.
I think Zubori thought there's no way she was coming up with that shot. Great footwork. I love that she had her paddle in ready position. Flicked her wrist a little bit at the end, came up with a beautiful shot. What a break of Zubori. Curtis Mihaljevic up 3-1 in the third set. Again, that's Halbauer return of serve, just lights out. I kind of wish they had taken a little more time, been a little more thoughtful before they started the game.
Well, you know, and as we talked about, this is a game of, you know, right now, truly the difference maker is a point here or there. And boy, if Curtis and Mihaljevic can get, you know, steal a point on Halbauer's return, that goes a long way to affecting the, you know, the outcome of this third set and match.
Exactly. See, that's the play where...
What's the lesson there, Patty? What's the lesson there?
If Zubori's on top of the net and you see her, lob. Even though you have the ball of life to hit your two-handed backhand possibly, if it leaves you in a position where you can't cover the next shot, throw up that lob. All right, so love 30. Will they do anything different? Will Ellie Halbauer crack another cross-court return to serve? Yes, she will. Yep.
And that was all set up by this overhead. We'll see it again on replay. Knocks her off balance. She's still off balance here and followed with the drop shot. It just, that's a fantastic play.
Great pickup off a great tipping ball. Oh my God, that was amazing.
Hello. Wow.
That might have been shot of the weekend right there.
I think it was.
I don't know if we'll get a chance to see that again, but we might see it on a highlight next week. That was great court coverage. All right,
There we
get
go.
a different formation, Mike. Double break point against the Mihaljevic serve, and I love just doing a little something. Halbauer at least didn't hit the same return cross court. But again, that power, that stroke just caused the error out of the screens there for Mihaljevic, and Halbauer Zubori down 2-3 in the third set. Short Hills women's final. Mike, I say let's go for a tiebreaker, third set. Oh, look at the fans bundled up.
Man, that is that's some serious fans there.
Those are some serious fans, I'll say. All right, Ellie Halbauer serving down 2-3 in the third set. See if Curtis gets her look on her forehand, gets a leg cord. And see, Curtis and Halbauer both thrive on their return of serves and following it up from that deuce court. Such weapons in the game. Oh boy. Zubori and Halbauer, they're lucky Curtis missed that shot. They kind of were backing up and praying. Good overhead off balance shot from Zubori. You can see Zubori wants to be in the middle of the court. She wants to go I formation right now. She hasn't sent that memo to Ellie yet. I think Ellie was getting a sense of it.
The Patty through an hour and 129 minutes. Halbauer and Zubori have won 102 points, and Curtis and Mihaljevic have won 99 points. So, I mean, it just lends itself to show what a absolute high, extremely high level close match we have here.
Tough choice from Mihaljevic right there. She's making great choices for the most part, but right there, if she couldn't bring a little more heat on that forehand, she kind of had to forego it, I think. She had wide open court behind her, and those guys just stuffed the volley. They followed the trail. Great rip from Curtis. Ooh.
Curtis is bringing the heat the last two returns.
She's got that. She's the human forehand. I want her to hit it all the time.
I mean, her two-hander is no slouch either. Thing's got some sting to it.
I'll take any shot Curtis hits. Yeah. Wow, what an off-speed ball from Mihaljevic. Handled beautifully with the volleys. Wow. Zubori got the shot she wanted, just missed it wide, and we're back to deuce. Gigantic point here in the third set. All right, Curtis. She's down, she's poised, she's looking, she's cracking. What a spot. I love that. Break point against Halbauer right here. Oh, great shot up the line. Held beautifully by Mihaljevic. And wow, Curtis and Mihaljevic up 4-2 in the third set. All right, Jay Curtis serving. They weren't showing a different formation there, that's the only one of their tactics I question in this match. They've just played a wonderful, wonderful match thus far, and they're up 4-2 in the third set. Little change up, little off speed. Nice serve from Curtis.
Yeah, kind of caught Zubori, didn't she?
Yeah, Zubori was not expecting
that. A little flat-footed.
Yep, the ball got up a little high on her. She wasn't expecting it.
And Patty, when you kind of talk about some strategy here, when you're talking about showing a different service formation, what would that accomplish?
Well, I just think when you have someone in a groove like Halbauer is returning serve from that deuce court, puts herself in a position where they win like at least 60% of the points off of when she's hitting the return. You've got to do something to just make them win the point differently.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Just take away the weapon if you can.
And you open a little doubt, maybe make them choose rather than just going with their, what they've been doing.
Ooh, unfortunate time for a volley error right there. Another big return. Curtis, the ball just floated a little long on her. still up 40-30. Chance to go up 5-2 in the third set here. Great rip from Zubori.
Zubori returned the favor with that down the line drive.
Exactly.
You know, I mean,
You're right. Mateo got her with the shot. That was payback. We're back to deuce on the Curtis serve. And I'm a little worried for Curtis and Mihaljevic. Because there just didn't, that's the second volleyer in this game from Curtis off of the return, the returns from Ellie Halbauer out of that deuce court. I just think, I think they should stay back. I don't think Australian will accomplish that much, personally.
Even with the temperatures.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. They're the advantages. If I'm a betting person at that point, I go with Halbauer Zubori in that situation. And, rough game there. A couple of volley errors for Curtis and a fault there, and Halbauer Zubori. Break of serve, back to 4-3 in the third set. Or score is 4-3 in the third set. So they had broken Zubori the last game. Curtis just got broken. How many breaks overall in this match, Mike? What's our grand total?
You're going to have to give me a minute here.
Yeah, when you look up those stats from Court Director, I'd love to know that. I think we had 13 breaks of serve, 6 in the first set, 7 in the second set. And
Halbauer Zubori are 10 out of 17 for break points won. Curtis and Mihaljevic are 9 of 15, so that takes us to 19 breaks of serve.
I've never seen so many break opportunities.
Well, and especially one would think that in Arctic temperatures that we would get more holds, a higher percentage of holds. So this is defying the percentages.
It is. All right, that's a great lob to Halbauer right there from Mihaljevic out of that deuce court. Way to get on top of the net. Boy, that was a gigantic point for Curtis and Mihaljevic.
And
I think, when they get a slight edge, when they can get up, that puts the pressure on the Zubori serve. It didn't phase her. She was hit a rock star serve. Mateo did a good job. She kind of held that shot. I thought she was going up the middle. She moved it over to Zubori's backhand at the last second. Brilliant play, given how Zubori always kind of looks to drop off her forehand. And there's a little bit of the pressure I mentioned earlier. Got a fault. Triple break point on the Zubori serve.
And Patty, one stat that's pretty interesting. We talked about the number of breaks already. Mihaljevic has held serve 50% of her service games. Curtis is 25%. Halbauer is 38%. That's a great overhead there, by the way. And Zubori is 43% of holds.
All right. 2 more break points, but there's that roller overhead we keep referring to. And a break of Zubori and Curtis Mihaljevic up 5-3 in the third set of the finals of the Short Hills Invitational Tournament.
And she's got the ball in hand. She's held 50% of her service games, which is the highest of all 4 players. So they're saying there's a chance here for a hold, Patty.
All right, let's see. Oh, good. I like the little change of formation. I like the movement from Curtis right there to help out on the first volley. But again, you just see that that pressure just nonstop from Halbauer out of that deuce court.
But that Australian position or I formation allowed them to get at least a little deeper into the point.
Yeah, but I still think they should give up the net. And I'd put this on Zubori right now. I would go back to where they totally focus on her. Because I think Halbauer is causing more damage. You can see Curtis backing up, anticipating a million of these lobs and able to keep that ball fairly straight ahead, fairly deep, not giving Zubori, you know, a big opening to tag a forehand.
Going to see Halbauer just itching to get involved.
Good dipping ball. Curtis had to kind of move in when she saw Zubori wind up that time because, you know, Mihaljevic was too far off the net to come up with that shot. Jade said, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to move. I'm going to try to do something to pick off this return. Oh. Again,
I don't know if I like that serve placement.
Nah. Wide to LA Halbauer's forehand, no. So I think we have a question about the score. It's 40 love. I don't think it's game. I think that Halbauer Zubori maybe thought it was game.
Yeah, okay.
Keller Everson just went out, corrected the players. Like we said, our chair umpire is inside for most of the events, although we do have a chair umpire up in the chair for the men's event. But he's got a nice high seat up in the sun. It's warmed up to at least 11 degrees here in New Jersey today. So triple break point against the Mihaljevic serve. Mihaljevic Curtis up 5-3 in the third set. Let's just go to the tiebreaker. Just seems like the most fair outcome, Mike. Both teams
Well,
played.
I think
You know,
Curtis and Mihaljevic will have something to say about that.
Yeah, yeah. So, easy hold on that game. Pretty flat game from Curtis Mihaljevic, but they are still up.
An easy break.
Yeah.
An easy break.
Easy break. All right, Curtis Mihaljevic up 5-4.
So we're 21 breaks into this match, Patty.
I almost just laughed, chuckled, spit out my water on that comment. 21. I've never seen a match like this. All right, so Halbauer's
That's like 30 seconds, okay? New ball, lady.
getting ready. Carol needs 30 seconds to run up. I don't know that she was a sprinter. I thought she was a middle distance runner in college for Rutgers, but she's been sprinting back and forth all weekend long from up in the paddle hut down on the court, doing a phenomenal job. That's L.A. Halbauer serving. Jade Curtis cracking another forehand return to serve. Love that she threw that ball down the line just to mix it up.
Absolutely. Well, I'd say, Patty, I would say that's been the norm the last two service games at Halbauer. She's hit every return down the line at Zubori's position. Smart play from Zubori to go just pull the plug, play in the backcourt.
Exactly. They knew Curtis was on fire, so they just negate that return to serve impact. Wow. 6-point streak here for Halbauer Zubori. This is where Curtis and Mihaljevic need to slow down. You know, they've controlled the tempo here. When it gets fast, that's Zubori time. That's the speed Zubori Halbauer want. All right, they're lucky. They get a reprieve on that lob long from Halbauer, and this is good. Now they're taking their time. I think you have to be extraordinarily thoughtful in these intense moments toward the end of a match, toward the end of a tournament. What a good dipping return of serve from Mihaljevic right there. I think it's 30 all, Mike.
30 all. Yeah, I believe it is.
Again, they gave up the net. They didn't want Curtis to hurt him with her return of serve. I swear I'd like, you know, look at the discipline from Mihaljevic and Curtis. They're just sticking with what's got them here. And I like their composure discipline that they're demonstrating here. Phenomenal lob from Zubori, though. Wow.
Come on! Fucking kidding me.
How about those Jets, Mike? Are they playing in the Super Bowl?
Boy,
Oh, they're not
I've got
playing.
to check my schedule. I've got to check my schedule
Next
here.
season, the Jets will be playing. This season, we have a little controversy. I think Carol, our umpire, may be running back out on the court. I think the umpire's going to go out. I think there's a little
Unfortunately,
discrepancy. So Curtis is calling the ball. They called the ball out. Carol Everson is running out to kind of try to.
Did you see the ball bounce? Did you see the ball bounce? That sideline is blocked. That's the issue. You're not going to see the one. That's the problem.
Can you stay here?
So then that ball just counts.
So Carol's going to have to stay out there. Little discrepancy, and it sets up match point, championship point. Mike for Curtis and Mihaljevic.
Stand here the rest of the time, guys.
That's Halbauer serving. Wow.
Wow.
Mike Raleigh. Just when you.
And match.
Wow. I mean, what an unbelievable win here for Curtis and Mihaljevic. They played a phenomenal match and came out with a great game plan, negated most of the, some of the tools that Zubori and Halbauer bring to the table, and just a phenomenal win for them. It's too bad there's a little discrepancy on some line calls, but it is what it is. Mike, how many service breaks in that match? 21?
Cal, I think it was actually, didn't they just break there? 22.
22? Okay, Mike, what do you
Yeah.
take from court director's match summary here?
Man, again, you look at the points won versus 117 for Halbauer Zubori. Curtis Mihaljevic won 116 points. We both had 11 breaks on either side of the net. I mean, I don't know if you can make it any closer. Patty, and I'm kind of speechless here.
Me too, Mike. But what a joyful match to watch. What a high level of play. And I just love the depth in the women's games. And you get a team like Curtis Mihaljevic, tournament number 7-seeded team coming out with the championship win. Just phenomenal. Congrats to them. And congrats to Halbauer and Zubori on reaching their second final in their partnership.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was a real treat to call the match with you, Patty. And we've got, this ain't it for paddle. I mean, we've got, we're finishing strong here in the next couple weeks, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, Mike, such a fun, so fun calling the match with you. I was glad we had the seats we had for this match, and I'll let you wrap it up and send people over to the men's final,
right.
Mike.
And that is a wrap from the Short Hills Club and the women's finals. And please tune in to our other YouTube channel for the conclusion of the men's final.
And we'll see you at Midwesterns. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Patty.
The business owners that I'm working with have entrusted Corient in this work because we're really focused on supporting them in their important endeavors. They're functioning every day in their zone of genius, and their expectation of us is we're doing the same. My name is Anna Diaz. I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Corient. When we think about the work we're doing for our clients, we think about first financial, absolutely. It is not uncommon that our very successful business owners and clients are making disjointed decisions. Our job is to provide a proactive strategy so the filter in which they make these decisions is informed. Second is the emotional load. Our clients often are asking themselves, what am I missing? Our job is to remove that mental load so they feel that their strategy is optimized, is simplified, and is executed cleanly. And the third is generational. Absolutely, there is technical design that goes into that, but it is also the thoughtful impact they want to have with what they've created.
Hi, I'm B. Lopez, and today I'm going to give you a tip driving off the screen. So for driving off the screen, especially on the do side, a lot of times I see people leaving the ball too far behind. It's all about footwork and getting ready for that shot. So make sure you guys leave the ball out in front of you so you have way more room to drive that ball. I'm B. Lopez. Hope you enjoyed this tip. Vamos!